from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, January 27th. Okay, so we have the moon in this Leo energy. It went void, of course, 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday evening. It is still void, of course, locking into Virgo energy at 2:12 p.m. here today on the 27th. Again, a very long time for the moon to be void, of course. And because yesterday, Friday, we were sandwiched in between that full moon in Leo and Uranus actually stationing direct, which he's going to do here today, we are feeling the jitteriness, we're feeling the anxiety, we're feeling the confusion, but we're also feeling a weird sense of just knowing that something is going to pop off, something is getting better, something's going to improve. There is a little bit of clarity, although it may not make sense right now, popping and shining through. So this is definitely going to be another interesting day to really test us to see how much control we have over our mental narrative, over our emotions, and how it is that we channel the very jittery energy through our physical form. So as I previously mentioned, Uranus is going direct today. Take a listen to the astro forecast that I put out for this event. Kind of flip to that Aquarius season e-guide to capture the topics and themes of this particular event. We are definitely going to be in for a major change, a major transformation. It is very much going to be kind of unexpected, out of the blue. We may still be resisting these changes, but again, this particular situation is asking you, do you want to roll or do you want to be dragged? Either way, we're moving into a totally different direction. So today there is going to be a lot of jitteriness, a lot of extra energy to have to kind of give a focus. And of course, the best way to do that is to engage the physical body in exercise, in cleaning up, in organizing. There is definitely a key in keeping the physical body busy in order for the energy to have an outlet so that we can kind of sit with the aha moments, with the thoughts, with the emotions coming to the surface of our awareness, and definitely see where major change is now being needed. Okay, so with that out of the way, there are 11 different aspects here today. 7 of them are going to involve the moon. 2 minutes into the day, this is when Uranus, the Great Awakener, is going to station direct. Now again, there's an astro forecast out for this whole event. I go into depth, I go into detail on what this particular transit is going to be, how it's going to kind of unfold here at the beginning. We do have 4.5, 5 months of fear, doubt, and insecurity that we should have been examining on why it is that we're fearful to break away from some of the constructs that our old version of self had created in our reality. Now, moving forward, there is going to be a jolt. There is going to be an epiphany. There is going to be wild card and unexpected events that get this ball rolling. So again, please, please, please take a listen to that forecast. Just a couple of minutes later, we are going to have the moon in Leo, again, still void, of course, making a positive interaction with Mars. Mars is the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires. He's in this Capricorn energy, thinking very carefully, long term, on what these goals, this vision, this dream wants to be. And of course, really sorting through our heart space to figure out where it is that we're inspired, where it is that we're passionate, where it is that we're excited, or frustrated as all hell. We need to tap into a fuel source. Whatever that fuel source is or could be for you, that's what you have to be cultivating right now. We may not be in an opportune time to kind of take action and make moves based off of the calculated and strategic actions that we've been sorting through very carefully, very thoroughly in our head. However, we're building up these energies. We're building up this discipline. We're building up this determination, and we're definitely feeling it with this particular aspect. The sun in Aquarius energy is going to get into the boxing ring, square off, fight it out with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, blessings in this Taurus energy. So here we have the sun in Aquarius really pushing for us to think about the big picture, the vision, the goal, the dream of our futuristic realities. This Aquarius energy is an awakening, an aha moment, an epiphany on where it is that we could do better, where it is that we could create better, where it is that we could build better physical realms that actually match our vibration, that are being led by our heart and soul self. Jupiter over here, who is about growth and expansion, we're having a hard time thinking very far ahead. Again, that Taurus energy, a fixed earth sign. We would rather stay in place, even if it's uncomfortable at this point, because the fears, the doubts, the insecurities that are currently kind of tapping into our mental plane and our emotions about what we have to do in order to break away from this current timeline, these current topics and themes, this current reality is very overwhelming. So instead of feeling kind of confident, feeling like we have what it takes, like we're well prepared to do what we got to do, we're kind of sitting in the opposite. We're very fearful. We're actually trying to talk ourselves into settling. We're trying to talk ourselves into being a little bit more comfortable with our situation, with our circumstance, when we actually are, just to prevent ourselves from having to boss up and do all the hard things that right now we're holding a lot of fear in actually doing. The moon still in this Leo energy, still very much void, of course, going to be making a tough interaction with Neptune. Neptune's in his place of power in Pisces energy. This is our dreams. This is our creativity. This is our intuition. This is a lot of the metaphysical realm of our soul and our spirit really needing to be validated, renewed, refreshed in a lot of ways. Again, this is a difficult aspect, and a lot of that is because the moon in this Leo energy, very connected to the present moment, to the here and now, and sometimes we lose sight of what it is that our higher self is actually asking us to pursue. So there is this tension point where there is a part of us that is very hopeful, wishful, very connected to the higher self, very connected to our intuition, very connected to imaginary land, where it is that we have to kind of create a new visual for the path, the plan, the strategy to actually move forward. Being kind of counterbalanced, if you will, with the moon in this Leo energy that isn't as aligned with the soul, the spirit, the heart space in that regard, that higher self energy, and very connected to the ego avatar, really basing a lot of our plans, our perspectives, our understandings, our emotions on the present moment in the here and now. Again, the moon is void, of course, so things are shaky, things are uncertain, things are not stable. We're questioning everything, and at this particular point in time, we're having a hard time aligning with that higher self. We're very anchored into the heart space, into the physical body, into the present moment. And it doesn't make us feel any better about how it is that we're going to get out of some of the situations that we're currently in. Okay, so we have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves, coming up to, bumping into, teaming up with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire. Both of them are in Capricorn energy. So we got tunnel vision goggles on. We're thinking about our long-term plans, our long-term goals. We are very, I'm going to say, motivated, even though it feels like a heavy weight, feels more like a responsibility, like an obligation, like a commitment. It's not like an exciting type of motivation. It's more like, okay, got to get my shit together here, time to boss up, time to do whatever needs to be done in order to free myself from these circumstances so that I can get on with building towards this new vision, this new goal, this new dream. Now, granted, we do have some logical, practical insights coming in to the mental plane, Mercury, that we will be taking action upon, Mars. So this is a building energy. Again, we've been cultivating the inspiration, the motivation, the determination needed in order to actually jump into this next chapter, tackle the problem areas, resolve them, clean the space out, clear the slate so that we can start building towards something better, something new. Now, let me just say that there's a lot of jitteriness. A lot of that is because of Uranus stationing direct, but Mercury and Mars coming together is definitely going to trigger our central nervous system as well. There's a lot of stimulation. There's a lot of nervousness, a lot of jitteriness, even inspiration, motivation, and determination can be building to a point where we feel like we're just going to bust out of our skin. So we have to kind of tame the beast, so to speak. This is, again, a test on our mental control, on our emotional control, on our response to the world, to situations, to circumstances around us. We have to kind of, again, be building up this motivation, this determination, this inspiration. But this is a very busy, buzzy type of energy, and it can feel very uncomfortable if you allow it to bounce around in the physical form. Again, engage your physical body. Energy bouncing around, anxiety, all of those particular emotions or experiences is when energy does not have a focus. So give it something to do, especially engaging the physical body so that you can kind of move into autopilot with what it is that your physical body needs to do. And that aha moment, those epiphanies will start popping off in the mental plane. You'll be able to make a lot more sense of them because you're giving that energy a channel to get out of the body. And then again, you're keeping a channel clear in order for the mental energies to actually come full circle, if you will. This is going to feel a little bit like we want to Hulk out, and that's okay, but give Hulk a task, give Hulk a chore so that we can be productive instead of destructive. Okay, so we're locking into Virgo energy at 2:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the point in time where we are going to feel that shift. Now let's talk about it. The transition from Leo energy to Virgo energy is always a heavy one, always a little bit heavy weighted, feels like we're hitting a brick wall. Why is that? Well, because the fire energy of Leo kind of has us bouncing all around, has us feeling some big feels, thinking some big thoughts, really just overall a over-exaggerated emotional experience, if you will. Well, the Virgo energy, it's a mutable earth sign ruled over by Mercury, ruler of the mental plane. This is where we move into the mental plane in order to sort out our physical realm. We have to process. We have to weed out the good from the bad. We have to figure out what it is that we're letting go of, what it is that we have to do in order to do just that. We have to understand, though, that this is a mental processing of sorting through the physical realm. Again, mind over matter with the Virgo energy. We do move into a space where we are problem solving. Again, Virgo energy, the problem solver of the zodiac. We need to identify the problem in order to fix it, in order to heal it, in order to repair it. And a lot of the problems are in our mental plane, in the way that we think, in the way that we talk to ourselves. So this is going to be a deep dive, emotionally and mentally speaking, into unpacking the physical realm, what needs to be done, what needs to be let go of, what needs to be built, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be repaired. This is going to work for us in the next couple of days here, but the transition from that Leo energy to the Virgo energy always feels a little bit heavy, a little bit weighted, like we hit that brick wall. Okay, so the very first aspect that the moon in Virgo is going to make is a tough interaction with Pluto. Pluto is now in Aquarius energy. When Pluto was in Capricorn energy, this would have been a trine. This would have been a harmonization. This would have been a growth, a change, an aha moment deep in our psyche that has a positive influence and impact on changing our narrative, changing our perspective. But now that Pluto's in Aquarius energy, again, the energies aren't matching up. This isn't a trine. This isn't harmony. This is actually a little bit more of a conflicting, tension-filled jitteriness, if you will. Now, we still love the fact that Pluto takes us on a deep dive in our psyche, but he's in Aquarius energy now, so we're looking to kind of rewrite the narrative that Aquarius energy is the higher octave of the observer mentality. It's a new awareness. It's a new level of consciousness. And so this is kind of the first time that the moon in Virgo, who again, mind over matter, is kind of having the opportunity to see things from the bigger, broader perspective that now Aquarius energy is allowing us to kind of operate from. But it doesn't feel comfortable. Again, earth energies and air energies are the furthest elements away from each other. So there's a huge gap there in order to understand where both of these planets are actually coming from. This is going to bring on an intensity. This is going to illuminate the problems. This is going to illuminate the breakdown. Why? Because the Virgo energy needs to flip the script and solve it. The Aquarius energy needs us to identify the problem so that we can come up with a solution that is going to totally resolve those issues, but it is going to require us to think outside of the box. The Virgo energy thinks inside of the box. There's parameters, there's boundaries, there's a checklist, there's a certain operation system that we have to go through in order to unpack our narratives, unpack our emotions according to the Virgo energy. The Aquarius energy is like, okay, how you doing with that? Following a certain structure or foundation, how's that been working for you, right? The Aquarius energy wants us to try something new, try something different. And the Virgo energy isn't that comfortable with really kind of stepping outside of the parameters that the Virgo energy feels comfortable in processing and sorting things out within. Things are really going to get uncomfortable for a moment here late afternoon because the moon in Virgo going to make a tough interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer. So we're not feeling good about ourselves. We don't see ourselves in the most positive of light. Remember, Virgo energy, highly judgmental, super critical, especially upon one's self. We like to pick ourselves apart, break ourselves down so that we can build ourselves back up in a better way. Does it feel good? No. Is it supposed to? No. Do you need to sit in it? Absolutely. What are you going to learn from it? Where it is that you got to boss up. Be better. Improve. Do better. Flip the script. Flip the emotions. Open your mind to a different perspective. The moon in Virgo then going to make a tough interaction with Mars, the god of war, ruling over physical energy, drive, passion, desire, even anger. Then Mercury, because of course, Mars and Mercury, both in this Capricorn energy, sitting together in this Capricorn energy. This is really going to put us in a state where we're feeling the frustration, the agitation with our own damn selves. When you get to a point when you're sick of your own shit, that is the moment in time where a major change, a major transformation is going to be taking place. And many of us have been sitting in this funk, sitting in this darkness due to our own limiting beliefs, our own repetitious looping cycle, if you will. So sometimes we need to get to a breaking point where we're just tired of our own damn selves, tired of our mood, our attitude, the way that we think, the way that we feel, the way that we get stuck in bad habits and certain loops. We're just sick of it. But again, we have to identify where there's a problem in order for the Virgo energy to attempt to fix it. The moon in Virgo going to make a tough interaction with the North Node in Aries energy. So this is like, oh my goodness, we are not moving. We are not taking a move. We are not taking a step. We are not acting out until we can get down to the nitty gritty of what the actual problem is, what we could actually do about it. And again, 9 times out of 10, it comes down to the inner narrative, to the way that you're thinking, to the way that you're perceiving, to the way that you're actually understanding yourself, let alone the world around you. So this is not growth. This is not healing. This is not repairment. What this is a shakedown of the version of ourselves that we're currently trying to anchor in, because the fragment of the old version of self just got activated and triggered under the full moon in Leo. Again, we have Uranus just going direct. There's a shakiness, there's a jitteriness, there's this resistance to change, but we know that we have to change. So now we're feeling pressured to either roll or be dragged. There's a lot going on. But this particular energy, this particular aspect, every single time that we move into the moon in Virgo, we spend the very first day-ish identifying problems, identifying the funk, identifying where it is that we have to kind of fix some of the issues that we cannot continue to allow to transpire, or else we're going to be kind of continuing to create the same old mess, the same old situation, the same old circumstance. The last thing that we have going on here today is Mercury getting into the boxing ring, squaring off with that North Node in Aries energy. And so, we're not thinking right away action, right? Mercury is in Capricorn energy. So this is having to think very carefully, very thoroughly, very strategic, very calculated on the moves that we need to make in order to get out of the situations and circumstances that we currently find ourselves in, so that we can clear this space and clean the slate for us to start building towards something new, something more stable, something more supportive, something that is going to be around for the test of times, giving us that encouragement, giving us that stability. Well, the North Node in Aries, that's the soul path that we need to get on in order to kind of break away from the old, in order to actually start this new quest, this new adventure, this new mission, this new purpose. And we're just not feeling like we should be moving ahead right now. This is a pause. Okay, people have a big problem with a pause. Everybody is either stop and go, moving ahead, going back. There is a beauty in the pause. because we are of a culture that needs to stay busy, that needs to be productive, that needs to be constantly pushing for the next thing, pauses don't feel good. This is a time to pause. This is a time to sit in it. This is a time to not feel good, because we have to recognize what it is that we want to actually pursue, where it is that we feel frustrated, blocked, and challenged from being able to take a move forward. And we need to really analyze why it is that this pause is absolutely essential for us to kind of gain our footing, gain our bearings, if you will. Again, Uranus going direct is going to kind of shake the world underneath our feet, so to speak, shake the structures of our physical realm. And it is not, I'm going to say, recommended to try and make moves and take big actions while the earth underneath our feet isn't stable to do so. So please lean into this pause, as uncomfortable as it may be, and just kind of explore the thoughts and the emotions coming up in you on where it is that you're frustrated, where it is that you're agitated, even borderline angry, that you haven't been kind of making the progress that you quote unquote feel like you should have made by now.